Hello everyone and welcome to the May 2026 edition of Inside Kensington Gymnastics. And welcome once again from Kensington, here at the heart of KCGA. This is our monthly update from Kensington and Chelsea Gymnastics Academy, which is created for families across Kensington, Chelsea, Knightsbridge, as well as the wider London community. May has been a significant month for KCGA. While our regular coaching programs have continued across all three venues, this month also saw Kensington and Chelsea Gymnastics Academy represented internationally, both in gymnastics competition and in sports science. So in this update, I would like to share what has been happening across the academy, reflect on the KCGA's representation at the 2026 Masters Gymnastics World Cup in the United States, and also share our participation at the annual meeting of the American College of Sports Medicine. So let's get started. So across the academy, May has been a month of steady summer term training. Children have continued working through structured progressions across our venues in Kensington, St. Philip's Church, in Chelsea, Park Walk School, and in Knightsbridge, Morehouse School, and of course let's not forget our Kensington studio where we do our personal lessons. So across these venues, we've been building strength, coordination, confidence, and body awareness. And at this stage of the year, much of the work is about really improving the foundation which have been developed earlier in this academic year. So the children are increasingly confident in their routines. They are more capable of working with their coaches, and they continuing developing these movement skills and this long-term progress that we want to see here at the KCGA. As always, the most meaningful improvements are often found in the details. So stronger shapes, better control, improved focus, and growing confidence when approaching new challenges. As we move towards June, preparations are also beginning for one of the highlights of the KCGA calendar. It's so exciting because this is our annual performance, and this year's event will also mark our 4th anniversary. So that will include the presentation of our highest academy recognition, the KCGA Gymnast of the Year Award. And of course, we will share much more about it and much more about those celebrations next month. One of the things I value most about this stage of the year is seeing the strength of the KCGA community here in London, the best city in the world. So gymnastics is often viewed through lens of skills and performance only, but behind every child's progress is a much wider support network. So these are the coaches preparing the sessions, so the amazing work that Coach Venya and Coach Sylvia has been doing for the club is just fantastic here. There's also the parents bringing children to training each week. Also, this is so important, the staff working behind the scenes to keep everything running smoothly. And as we begin preparing for our annual performance in June, I'm reminded that a positive, supporting environment is built collectively. Children achieve more when they feel supported, when they're part of something larger than themselves. That sense of community is one of the things we continue working hard to protect here at KCGA. Fine, now I would like to talk about the Masters Gymnastics World Cup. So one of the most significant moments of May was the opportunity to represent this club, the Kensington and Chelsea Gymnastics Academy, once again at the Masters Gymnastics World Cup in Cambridge, Massachusetts, the United States. So the Masters World Cup is one of the most prestigious international competitions for Masters athletes, bringing together athletes from across the United States and around the world. So it celebrates something that sits very close to the philosophy of KCGA here, which is the idea that gymnastics can remain part of life well beyond childhood. So this year marked my second appearance at this event. So I remember when I first competed at the World Cup back in 2024, I represented both KCGA and Great Britain. That was the Great British Masters Gymnastics team. So I competed on rings and also contributed to the British team effort on pommel horse. So the Great Britain, we finished 4th overall back then in 2024. It was a team competition and I placed 12th on the ring. So this year is only individual competition. So that experience left a lasting impression on me, and it was one of the reasons I was determined to return. The journey back in 2026 was not straightforward. The final weeks before the competition were affected by shoulder and knee problems, which required significant adjustment to training and preparation. But rather than increased workload, the focus became managing recovery and adjusting training and arriving at the competition in the best condition possible. So in many ways, that reflects an important lesson from gymnastics itself. So progress is not always about doing more. Sometimes it is about adapting intelligently, staying patient, and continuing to moving forward despite setbacks. When competition day arrived, I chose to perform a simplified rings routine, prioritizing execution, control, and quality rather than maximum difficulty. Also, to protect some issues with my knee, I also removed the dismount from the routine. A bit sad, but despite these adjustments, the performance resulted in a score of 12.6 and a 4th place, finishing on rings. So that was just 0.1 points away from the other person in front, which was away from the medals. And of course, it is always natural to wonder what might have been possible under different circumstances. But for me, the result represented something much more important than just ranking. It was really a reminder that consistency, resilience, and long-term commitment continue to matter. And perhaps most importantly, it reinforced something we try to demonstrate every day here at KCGA. Gymnastics is not simply a sport for children. It is an activity that can continue to challenge, inspire, and reward people throughout their adulthood. As coaches, we spend much of our time encouraging children to stay patient with their development and to trust the process of gradual improvement. Competing at the World Cup was a reminder that those same principles continue to apply many years later. Whether the goal is a first forward row, a performance in front of a family, or an international competition, meaningful progress is always built through patience, consistency, and really hard work. And it was a privilege to represent KCGA on the international stage once again. Moving on to the ACSM annual meeting, as you probably know, this is one of my favorite sports science and sports exercise, sports medicine performance conference in the world. Really, it is one of the best events one can attend. So May included this important milestone for KCGA through our participation at the annual meeting of the American College of Sports Medicine, held this year in Salt Lake City in Utah. So the ACSM annual meeting is exactly this flagship event of the American College of Sports Medicine, and it is widely recognized as one of the most important gatherings in the world for sports and exercise science, health, physical activity, and also human performance. So each year, thousands of researchers, clinicians, practitioners, educators, PhD students, they come together to share new findings in research, to discuss emerging evidence, and help shape the future of sport and health sciences, which is a fantastic event.
And this only works and only grows and only moves forward when we do it together. Every member, every volunteer, every staff member, each of you play a role in shaping who we are and where we're headed. That's what truly makes ACSM special, and that's what will carry us forward. And I want to thank you all.
For me personally, this meeting has become an important part of my own professional journey. I have been a member of the American College of Sports Medicine since 2020, and 2026 this year marked my third consecutive in-person ACSM annual meeting in the United States. So my first ACSM annual meeting was in Boston in 2024 when I presented a poster, then followed by Atlanta 2025, and now Salt Lake City in 2026. So each year provides an opportunity not only to learn from some of the leading experts in the world, but also to contribute to the scientific conversations through research, to presenting some of my research on our research, and really have this professional engagement, which is so valuable nowadays. So this year I presented a study which was conducted here at the Kensington Chelsea Gymnastics Academy, examining hand grip strength symmetry in primary school boys practicing in recreational gymnastics. So the study involved boys training at the KCGA and explored whether recreational gymnastics may contribute to more balanced upper limb strength development during their childhood. And the findings were encouraging because the gymnasts demonstrated largely balanced grip, the strength of their grip between their left and right hands, with only small differences between sides. The study also suggested that recreational gymnastics may support more symmetrical upper body development than typically reported in children of similar ages who are not necessarily doing sports. So for parents, this is particularly interesting, I believe, because gymnastics naturally encourages children to support, to hang, to bear their weight through both sides of the body, rather than relying predominantly on one side, like some of the sports that are available out there. So what I valued the most about events like the ACSM is that they help ensure our coaching here remains connected to current evidence and ongoing professional development. So at KCGA, we are not only interested in teaching just gymnastic skills, we are also interested in understanding how children develop, how movement supports long-term health, and how coaching can be informed by both experience but also research. Representing KCGA at the ACSM annual meeting was therefore not simply an opportunity to attend just a conference. It was an opportunity to contribute to the international scientific community while continuing to strengthen the connection between gymnastics coaching, education, and also scientific research. What is the lesson? Now, thinking back about this experience, so the lesson that stood out to me this month came from these two, you would say, very different environments, right? One was the Masters Gymnastics World Cup, the other was the annual meeting of the American College of Sports Medicine. On the surface, the experiences, they may seem completely different. One takes place in a competition stage and the other in a scientific stage. But both are built around the same idea: continuous improvement. Whether we are learning a new gymnastic skill, refining a coaching method, conducting research, or preparing for competition, meaningful progress comes from remaining curious, I would say, and continue to learn, always. I think that this is a valuable lesson not only for gymnastics but for life generally. Improvement rarely happens all at once, just like this. No, it happens through small steps which are taken consistently over time. After the ACSM annual meeting, I also spent several days in New York as part of my preparation for the 2026 Adult Gymnastics British Championships, which will take place in June. So training in a different environment offers a valuable perspective. It provides opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to continue refining both physical preparation and technical skills. So I had the opportunity to visit once again Chelsea Gymnastics Club and also to train around New York, and had a really good experience in this amazing city. And training in Central Park also was a great experience. So more importantly, the whole idea of training in a different environment, it really reinforces something that we often speak here at KCGA. It really is that gymnastics is not only for children. It is an activity that can continue to challenge and inspire people throughout their adulthood. And the Adult Gymnastics British Championships will be one of the major events of June, and I look forward to sharing more details about this experience in our next month's update. The May edition of the Kensington Chelsea Gymnastics newsletter is now available on the website. So this issue includes highlights from the Masters Gymnastics World Cup, preparations for our upcoming annual performance, updates from across our venues, and a look ahead to some important events taking place in June. As always, it provides a written snapshot of the Academy, which can help families to stay connected with everything happening across KCGA. Also, we are excited to bring a slightly modernized and new design of the newsletter from next issue. We have also continued developing Kensington Gymnastics magazine. Following the publication of issue 2 earlier this year, work has already begun on future editions as we continue building a long-term educational resource for families. What I enjoy the most about this magazine is the opportunity to explore different topics in greater depth than we can during a class, let's say a gymnastics class or a monthly update. So it allows us to take a step back, look at the bigger picture of children's development, and share ideas that remain relevant long after a particular term or event has passed. So looking ahead, June will be a major month for KCGA. We will host our annual performance celebrating the 4th anniversary of Kensington Chelsea Gymnastics Academy and present KCGA Gymnast of the Year Award. I will also be representing KCGA at the 2026 Adult Gymnastics British Championships. So, while May has been a month of preparation, representation, and continued development, June promises to bring many important moments together for our academy community. So, thank you, as always, for being part of KCGA community. Whether you join us each week in Kensington at St. Philip's Church or at the Kensington Studio, in Chelsea at Park Walk School, or in Knightsbridge at Morehouse School, your support allows us to continue building an academy rooted in professionalism, education, and long-term development. May has shown KCGA represented beyond London in international gymnastics competitions and international conference in sports and exercise science, while our weekly work with children has continued steadily here at home. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next month. See you in June.